Can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
The question isn't whether the world is changing. It's whether you'll be ready for it. At Arizona State University, your education is built around the careers of the future. You learn from renowned faculty and researchers who are driving their fields forward, not just teaching about it. It's why we're ranked #1 in innovation and #2 in employability among U.S. public universities. Future-proof your career. Explore more than 350 programs at asuonline.asu.edu. That's a degree better.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, what's the Big 12 going to do? That is the question. Brett Yormark issued a statement about conversations with Big 12 athletic directors. Who really believes the conference will do anything to Texas Tech? The ADs meet. I didn't really expect anything definitive out of that. I assumed that they are setting the table, coming up with options for the presidents, trying to guide the discussion, knowing full well something of this scope is going to be made above their pay grade.
Oh, I expected more.
Oh, did you really?
I
didn't expect anything at all.
Not action, but statement. The statement said nothing. We met. Great. And we're going to keep that confidential. BFD.
Yeah.
No, I wanted, this is egregious, and we're discussing ways to take action. That's what I wanted. You don't have to tell me the action. I get what you're saying, but the statement was too vanilla. It was too bland. It doesn't give me confidence that they got the stones to do anything. They need to have the cojones to do something.
I got to say, I don't know what they're going to do.
Suspend them.
I feel like they're going to do something. I don't have a good feel for what it is.
Suspend them.
I think there's still a little bit of disbelief that they're in this spot.
Well, get over it.
And there's some way he's not going to play. I wonder deep down if Texas Tech really wants him to play, or if they're like, hey, we were going to back our guy, and then we figured the judge would swat him down, and it'll be taken care of.
They got a Fort Worth judge, and where does Cody Campbell live? Fort Worth. Come on.
Does he own all of Fort Worth? Fort Worth is a big place.
And he's got a big say.
And it may well have been judge shopping, and they knew all along they'd get it. But I do wonder how much is a little disbelief. And now they got the whole college football world, giving them the evil eye, the side eye.
And they're going to say, screw you.
They may well.
This is their moment. It's Mark Cuban. Any publicity is great publicity. Everybody knows about Texas Tech now.
No one's going to save you now. You got to figure out what you're going to do.
This is a boon for Cody Campbell. Everybody knows who Cody Campbell is now, if you didn't already. They didn't think that it didn't dawn on them that they might win it and he might be reinstated and there might be blowback, then they're really stupid. No, I don't buy that at all.
Logan says Texas Tech is the favorite child. Yeah, I don't think I'm buying that. You think the Big 12 is thinking they're the favorite child? Hey, we're going to pretend to be all up in arms, but this is just going to get them ready. They're going to have a better team and
they're not going to have a better team.
I know, I agree, but why else would you call them the favorite child? What is Logan thinking here?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Logan.
Patrick says, what are they going to do? Leave for the Pac-12? Patrick says, do something to Texas Tech. They're going to have to take it.
Suspend them. That's the only thing you can do. We can make them run around the block, write on the board, I will not gamble, do push-ups, community service. None of that matters.
Right on the board.
This is about winning at all costs for Texas Tech. Go look. Anybody who's defending it is a Texas Tech fan, or it's a media guy. The media guy in Dallas who's on some of these shows, he's there, what's the big deal? Yeah, I get it. You're contrary. That's a thing. And so here's your chance to be contrary. Good for you. Way to go. But you're ruining the integrity of the sport. This isn't about Texas Tech. This is you say, oh well, he didn't bet on the team to lose.
He bet on players, but he did bet on players.
That's irrelevant.
Yep.
This opens up a door for kids who have all sorts of money to go ahead and then do these things and put themselves into more trouble. Because it's really interesting. A lot of people who have a lot of money have gambling addictions and gambling problems. And what's the deal, the connection? They got a lot of money, so they can withstand the losses. Barkley, Jordan, Mickelson. I mean, the list is pretty
deep. Just to pick three.
Yeah,
just to pick three household names.
Right. And so now you're going to get these kids are already being besieged with a bunch of hanger-oners who want some of their money, and now you're going to introduce, you can now gamble because if you get caught, it's going to harm your mental health. No kidding. Everything that you do is going to harm your mental health. Where do we draw the line? Go to that judge then. Any form of offense against the law when you get caught is going to harm your mental health. And so if that's your standard and your defense, it's going to harm your mental health. The kid who got 35 years yesterday is going to harm his mental health. Don't send him to prison. Of course, duh. I don't buy it. The Big 12 has to make a stand because the Big 12 is associated by association with Texas Tech. And if they just put out a statement, we can't live like this. We won't tolerate this. Thoughts and prayers. What does that do?
Not if Sorsby runs out there and plays.
Yeah.
And beats Houston in the conference
By
opener.
association, you're allowing him out there. Suspend him, and then if they go to court and get some other judge or whomever, and
there's that.
That's their problem. That's not yours. You must make a stand, and you must do it. You don't have to do it today because we're still in June. But over the next 2 to 3 weeks, you must make a stand, and it must be suspension. There's nothing else to do.
And your timeline might even be a little generous. I mean, the presidents are scheduled to meet early next week. So get the idea from the ADs, run it past the executive board, and then tell the president this is what we want to do. It may well be what you just said.
What else can it be?
I don't think finding the school, given how much money is floating around in college sports, has any impact. And we always hear fines and suspensions, but the fines, that's just slap on the wrist territory. There's too much money floating around out there.
Yeah.
They'll recoup it. So back to suspension. And it might land differently in court because it's a conference. It's not the NCAA where you run into antitrust stuff. It's like, they could leave and join another. There's plenty of conferences out there. It might just land differently. And you're right, it could also just land with a different judge.
That's the Big 12. Don't worry about that.
Well, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're consulting their lawyers right now. Because they don't want to get beat. I mean, how do we frame this so that when it goes to court we win?
And so you win again, and then they appeal. If the kid plays, you think that Texas Tech is going to follow through? If we get to December and he's played in all the games and there's some pending litigation, what's in it for Texas Tech? At that point, it's over.
Yep. Yeah, the February appeal to this last decision, it's all over. It's out of eligibility. The season's done.
Right.
It's court cases like 3
Even
weeks
if it's
after
just
the title
cosmetic and they can't be enforcing it, do it anyway.
I see what you're saying. Better to do it and then lose in court than it is to not do anything.
You become an accomplice.
At least the NCAA can say, hey, we took it to court. Now, maybe as our guest told us yesterday, maybe they didn't prepare as well or present the best case, but at least they went there.
I don't know.
I know we weren't there.
This is so much bigger than Texas Tech beating Houston. Who cares? Who cares?
Versus every game is compromised. It's all WWE.
This is allowing susceptible young people with money the freedom to do something that will destroy their lives. Is that really what we want?
People have the freedom to wreck their lives. Do they also have the freedom to wreck the sport? Because you can do both at the same time.
But without consequence.
Yeah.
You have the freedom to do whatever you want, but you must face the consequence. Well, now you don't have to face the consequence. That is dangerous. Believe me, man, being involved in gambling, that you don't want that. And then that I'm worried about the welfare of the young man and young woman. You want to be worried about the sport and the integrity of it? Fine. I agree with you 100%. You speaking generally.
Right, but in this case, they largely go hand in hand. Not exactly the same, but they largely go hand in hand.
Yeah. But the reality is we've had that before, and as long as your team wins, you don't care.
Which is why I think they're more likely to act about the integrity, the golden goose, and keep college sports super interesting.
Yeah, but I don't
intriguing.
think college sports is going away. They've survived all sorts of gambling issues and scandals that I don't think Brendan Sorsby's situation is going to bring down college football.
But there have been consequences for those, and it's led to the perception that those are, if not one-offs, because it's happened more than one time, they are at least limited. And the thought that there are no consequences, and now it's not limited, now it can become rampant, which, as you point out, could be rampant consequences for individuals, young people, and could be rampant consequences for the sport as well. That's different. I mean, you can go back probably at least 75 years to a gambling scandal.
There's still going to be the overwhelming need. College football is the second most popular sport we have in our country, and Saturdays and so forth. There's so much money at stake. Brendan Sorsby's situation is not going to put a dent into that. But you're going to have to do it and be aware of it with individuals. And it does permeate it. I don't think it'll cripple it. It could dent it. And I do not want these players, and that's what they are, they're players, having all this money and then having
all the
unscrupulous people have access to them. They're already being pulled in 100 different directions. And we'll see it as years come to pass that we're just brand new starting into this. We're in the infancy stage of what these guys do with their money, and then we're going to find out in 2035 that somebody who got all this money is broke. He didn't take advantage of his educational process because he had the money, and then he's got nothing to show for it, and he's living under a bridge.
It's absolutely going to happen.
Yeah.
As recently as yesterday, I was told about high-profile players who didn't cash NIL checks, who had to be issued multiple checks, companies saying we want to close our books out at the end of the year. We've issued 3 or 4 checks, and they haven't been cashed. I mean, you can already see the behavior that will lead to what you're talking about. And it's not a one-off.
And now we're going to have gambling. We're going to allow kids to gamble. And that becomes – that used to be the one thing you couldn't do.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pretty much do anything else. And as McHale said years ago, axe murderer by day, NBA player by night. I mean, we allow this stuff, and we look the other way, and then the fans of those teams defend it. When Urban Meyer was going through his thing with the assistant coach and Brett McMurphy was taking all sorts of heat, all the heat was coming from Ohio State fans because you're going to ruin our good times. And
you've been reading stuff to me during breaks and clicking on it, like Texas Tech fan, go Red Raiders.
Yeah.
Red Raiders, ride or die, Red Raiders.
Right.
Red Raider for life.
Right.
I know.
They want to win.
Sure.
It's about them. It's not about the situation or the kid or the game. It's about me on Saturday so my team can win. And aren't we something?
It's not coming from the Longhorns and the Aggies, and it's sure not coming from the Cougars and the Bears.
And Texas Tech stands a good chance to win, and then they'll go to the playoff and lose. And then Cody Campbell will say, we're going to triple down because last year he said we're going to double down. Yeah. And then after that, we're going to quad down. And what goes after 4? I don't know.
Quintuple.
Okay. And maybe one year they get it. Great. And a week later, your life goes on.
But how different is this than Oregon, and how long has Oregon been chasing? And Oregon's gotten close.
Right.
They've been in the title game. They've lost to the champions the last 2 years without getting into the title game. They've lost to them earlier. The only 2 schools that have beaten them the last 2 years have been the champs. It's hard to get there. They could be chasing it for a long time.
And if they get it, I just don't see.
Then what?
Yeah.
Okay. You look around. Do you remember when Pablo told us that story? It's one of the reasons we love having Pablo on, because all these stories you can cross-reference them. He said he won the title Yeah, they won the MLS Cup in Colorado, and his phone blew up, and everybody's reaching out. And he says after about a week, it got real quiet. He looked around and he goes, well, better get on the bike and go running and get ready for next season.
Yeah,
After
I mean,
a
I'm
week,
not discounting it because it's awesome.
It is awesome. And you have the parade, and you have all the high fives, and you have all the texts and the dinners and all that. But then, like, after a week, like.
But you can have those experiences along the way. And I point to the Ute fans in the first Rose Bowl and interacting with them, or in the Fiesta Bowl, or in the Sugar Bowl. I covered them all. Or in the Final Four. I covered them all.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And wouldn't every Ute fan, wouldn't you take the Final Four, as painful as that was, that NCAA run, or the Rose Bowl, seeing them at the parade, taking pictures with them and talking to them, and you lost the game by 3 points. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. It sucks that you lost, but the experiences that all those people, tens of thousands of people had, and how they're at the Rose Bowl and they were getting claustrophobic because it's an old stadium and the walkways, the tunnels to get out to the actual stadium, the playing field, was jammed. And
I've been there when it's jammed, and it's so bad that I don't get concessions at the Rose Bowl when I'm in the stands, and I don't want to have to go to the bathroom. I do that tunnel one time to get in.
This is literally sold out.
And one time to leave. I've been there for USC, UCLA when it's sold out. And one time to get in and one time to leave. And when I leave, I just sit in my stands and wait.
Bathroom.
I don't have anything to eat or drink. I'm not doing that. That thing
you were
freaks me
younger
out.
too.
I was younger. That's a fact.
You get older, you got to go to the bathroom.
I'm not. I do not want to go through that claustrophobic. The people who are claustrophobic totally get it. And
I heard from dozens of them.
And I don't get claustrophobic easily, but that I did not like going in through that tunnel.
They were all jammed. There's like no end. People are pushing, shoving.
LA
COVID's
Coliseum,
running around.
LA Coliseum's a little like that too. I don't like that vibe. Don't like it.
Yeah, but the point is they had a great experience.
Oh, yeah. Despite the fact that it ended the way it did, the second quarter was such a roller coaster and so many adrenaline rushes. I mean, you had 2 plays of the season, and they happened in the same quarter. You could go a whole season without a play as exciting as Cam Rising on keeping it on 4th and 1, breaking through the line, stumbling, tripping, bumbling, breaking into the open.
Doing 360s.
Yeah, doing a 360, spinning, and then 60 yards to the end zone.
Yeah, it was awesome.
If that happens one time in a year, I don't even think that was the best play of the quarter because you got Covey's return. And he's going sideways. Sometimes the return, the guy never breaks stride. You can tell by the way he's running, like he sees the lane and he knows. But he's zigging and zagging and trying not to get tackled at the 20 to 25.
He's 5'8" white guy.
And then finally,
from Utah.
Yeah, and then finally at like the 35, he turns on the afterburner and he's like, oh, he finally sees the path. And then it's his footer, and he's running to all the Ute fans, and their arms
I
are
had
out.
to keep my cool in the press box.
Oh, yeah. That was, the newsroom erupted. And the Cougar fans were erupting. It was unbelievable.
It was.
Yeah. And it immediately was preceded by a long touchdown pass. It was immediately followed by a long touchdown pass. I mean, Ohio State was making big plays at the same time.
So I think that
awesome
Texas Tech needs to step back. I would like to see them. I think they would gain far more respect in the world.
Find a way out.
Yeah.
Find a way out.
It was like, okay.
But the one person
there is a right and wrong.
But the one person who doesn't want a way out has a lawyer and just won the case. So I think everybody's looking around for a way out. I don't know if anybody sees it.
Yeah, but now if he were to enter himself in the supplemental draft, it would be, okay, I've learned my lesson, and I'm going to take a consequence. I actually think that would help him in the eyes of the NFL.
I can see your point there. I could have played in college. I won in court.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to go ahead and take some medicine here and move on because I've learned from it.
Right.
But does he have a PR person in his ear saying that?
I don't know.
DJ and PK, that'd get everybody off the hook. Brett Yormark would breathe a deep sigh of relief. Mike Folta, Utah Mammoth radio voice, SCG Media, coming up right after the break. Stanley Cup final, another wild, high-scoring game. Stay with us. We'll talk to Mike about it next.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeComb.
Shehan Jayaraja, CBS, joins us. We're all shocked. I know everybody's shocked. The only people that seem to be happy about this is Brandon Sorsby and Texas Tech coaches and fans. How shocked are you that this went down the way it did?
I thought that the case that the NCAA laid out was pretty reasonable. In sports in general, right, there is a bright red line around one thing, and it's that you do not gamble on sports and that you do not gamble on your own games. This is something that impacts the perceived integrity of the sport. The idea that there are people on the playing surface who could be manipulating the game for whatever reason, right? And so that to me remains, in my eyes, a bright red line. This is really one of the first instances in sports, period, professional, college, any level, that we've seen it impacted like this.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
DJ PK, and we're joined once again by the pride of Purdue, Mike Folta, radio voice of your Utah Mammoth. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. Hope everybody was up watching Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final last night between Carolina and Vegas. It has been an incredible series, and we had another incredible game last night. So I'm enjoying being a fan, fellas.
Another game, another 2-goal lead blown. Haven't you been calling games and thought, 2-goal lead, this is going to be really tough? And this is automatic. And these teams are supposed to be really good defensively. Are they so good defensively they're creating the turnovers that are leading to all the goals? Is that the problem?
I think there's an element of that. I think more than anything, you've just got two really good teams that are both playing with desperation, that both have big players that are coming through in big moments. For Carolina, it's been their captain, Jordan Stahl. Another 2 goals for him last night. I think he's the oldest player ever to score in 4 straight Stanley Cup final games. He's 37 years of age. And then on the other side, you've got clutch players like Mark Stone and Brett Howden and of course, Mitch Marner for the Golden Knights, who is the front runner to win the Conn Smythe, the playoff MVP. But I think it's just been incredible theater. And the fun thing about it for me is that, like, everywhere you look up and down the roster, you've got players on both sides who are making incredible plays and then making mistakes. Nobody has been perfect in this series, and that's why we're tied at 2.
Oh, yeah, you're channeling Torts. Is that what they call him, Tortorella?
Yeah.
Yeah. He says the frustrating part for me is they didn't earn their winning goal. He's referring to a bad turnover that led to a Seth Jarvis chance. Was stopped by Carter Hart. And then he said, right after that, we made another mistake. We leave the front of the net. Oh, my gosh. Now, this is PK speaking. How the fetch can you leave the front of the net? Isn't that basic hockey, Mike?
Is that PK or is that like George Costanza right there? Jerry, how do you leave the front of the net, Jerry? The front of the net. It is crazy because both teams are so good at defending the front of the net. Like, that's Vegas' thing. They defend the house. They'll let you possess the puck a little bit. We saw it when they played Utah in the first round. The Mammoth at times had trouble getting to the inside of the ice, as we call it, that area right in front of the net. But, yeah, Vegas has been, like, as good as the Golden Knights have been in big moments, and they're so poised throughout games. They never seem phased. There's never any panic. And for all of that, they have been so imperfect that, that's why they trailed Utah in the series. That's why they trailed Anaheim in the series. That's why they're tied at 2 right now with Carolina. Like, they have this habit of kind of making silly mistakes. Now, part of that is the way that the Hurricanes play. I mean, it's just wave after wave of pressure, and it's kind of like a football team that blitzes you all the time. You can beat the blitz, but if you hesitate for a moment, you could turn it over, you could get sacked, a negative play. So with all that pressure, like eventually the dam breaks, and most teams make mistakes. That's why Carolina's reached the final, and they're doing it to Vegas too. So the Hurricanes deserve a lot of credit on that front for forcing those mistakes with the tenacity with which they play.
How much did you enjoy what turned out to be the winning goal? I mean, you're just talking about sheer effort, stumbling, tripping, lunging, falling to the ice, and somehow slapping that puck into the back of the net. It's not the prettiest goal, but in a way, it's gorgeous.
It was incredible, and somewhere that's going to be framed, that still shot of Jordan Staal on the ice, knocking that puck in. That's going to get framed, and it's going to be in a bunch of Raleigh man caves. And it's probably going to be in the North Carolina press box at the Lenovo Center as well, because that was an incredible moment. And PK kind of mentioned it. It started with Seth Jarvis forcing a turnover, and Jarvis is a guy who has been a little bit snake-bitten in these finals and in the playoffs in general, hasn't made as much of an impact along with some of Carolina's other top guys that head coach Rod Brindamore would have hoped. He did have an overtime winner in game 2, but he just makes an incredible play. He's taken on like 3 Golden Knights. I think Ray Ferraro on TV said it looked like a Golden Knights team picture in the corner. There were so many gold sweaters, but Jarvis finds a way to beat them all, just kind of keep the play alive. And then I think it was Ehlers who passed it to Staal, and that's just an incredible effort play. And that's why this series has been so incredible. You have 2 teams that are selling out every moment. And even when your legs are tired, there's not enough oxygen getting to your brain, you can't even think out there, these guys are still finding a way to make these incredible moments.
Turning to the Mammoth, Bill Armstrong making a statement as far as basically anything and everything's on the table. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if he used that phrase, but you get the point. What level of talent do you want in return if the Mammoth were to include Njigla or Desnoyers?
I had to do a double take there. We're gonna have to work on your Canadian PK. So I've got TJ Ginla and Caleb Denoye. The Denoye one's tough. But TJ Ginla, yeah, there you go. So those are, for those of us who might not remember, those are Utah's 2 biggest prospects. Right. And to be quite honest, they're 2 of the finest prospects in the NHL. I mean, they both had incredible seasons. Tej was taken 6th overall in 24, and Caleb Denoye was taken 4th overall in 25. To be honest, guys, I don't think there's any way those guys get dealt. No. And I just and people have been speculating, and I understand why it's fun to play fantasy hockey, but I think once guys get drafted that highly at that level, they hardly ever get traded. I mean, I went back and I was looking at this the last few years because, Cole Bagley, our good friend with KSLSports.com, put together a trade proposal for Detroit's Dylan Larkin, their captain who wants out of Hockeytown. That included Caleb Denoye in there. And I'm like, guys, the Mammoth, they see Iginla and Denoye as 2 of the pillars of the franchise. And I just, especially once those guys get drafted, you hardly ever see them get traded that highly, like top 5, top 6 picks. The only one that's happened recently was Cutter Gauthier, who's a really good player. He was taken 5th overall in 22. He got traded from Philly to Anaheim, but that was because he refused to sign in Philadelphia. It wasn't because he was, simply part of he wasn't just a trade chip. He asked out of Philly. So that was a unique circumstance. But you hardly ever see those high-end draft picks get traded after they're drafted and before they reach the NHL. And I think part of that's because nobody is higher on those guys than the team that drafted them. Like the Mammoth are the team that see the most value in Iginla and Denoye, I'm willing to bet. And they see those 2 guys as big parts of the future. So I expect Bill Armstrong to be wheeling and dealing like he does in the summertime. But I would be shocked if one of those 2 guys is part of a trade. And if they are, it's a king's ransom coming back to the Wasatch Front.
I totally see your logic there, and we hear how deep the Mammoth are in prospects. Is there a point where they've got so many prospects and only so many roster spots, and they got a bunch of other guys penciled in, that they need to trade some of the prospects? Maybe not the top two, but do they have other guys you think might need to move along just because the sheer math of it doesn't work? So go get some value now, and if you trade 2 or 3 prospects, as long as it isn't the top prospects, for a vet who can play right now, somebody in their prime, not only does it make sense, they almost have to do it. Are they that deep?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say they have to do it, but like that's asset management, right? Anytime you have a war chest like the Utah Mammoth do, and you can only sign 50 contracts. Like there's 20-something contracts, guys that are on the NHL roster. There's other contracts of guys who are in the minor leagues, but it still counts as an NHL deal. You can sign 50. So the Mammoths are close to that right now. So there's only so many more guys they can sign to a deal. But yeah, at some point the math dictates that you move this guy or move that guy, or there's not enough room in your system. But honestly, guys, like I think this training camp's going to be a war. Like I think they want these young guys to compete with each other, and remember that competition is healthy too, and iron sharpens iron. And if you have a lot of these prospects competing with each other, like that's going to bring out the best in them at camp and during the summertime when they need to be working. Like that pressure is good. And so I think you're okay if there's a little bit of overflow where, some of those high draft picks don't quite pan out, or they don't get as much of an opportunity. And also remember this, Bill Armstrong's a guy who believes in letting prospects bake in the minor leagues. Like, he will throw that casserole in the oven until it is crispy brown. So there is no problem for Bill Armstrong with letting a guy stay in the minor leagues maybe a year, a couple years, more than what other teams would. So you can't really ruin a hockey prospect by having them play in the American Hockey League too much. It's a very competitive league. It's a hard league. And you can learn a lot of things down there. So, yes, I do think, like, at some point you start trading the future assets, whether it be a draft pick or a prospect, for players now. But I think having an overabundance of prospects is not an immediate concern because of the competition and because you can let those guys bake for a little bit.
Well, baking, that's more of the winter thing. And in the summer, we've got grilling. Do you like your hot dogs a little charred when you grill them, or what?
I can do a little char, yeah. I don't mind that smoky flavor. You get some of the grill residue on there.
Yeah.
I had a great health missile at Davis County Golf Club the other day. Very well done with a quality bun as well.
I believe I just heard the phrase health missile.
You walk in, you pluck it off the roller, and you feel your cholesterol go up.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate you pointing out the quality of the bun, because that's important. It goes hand in hand. But and I respect you, Mike, greatly, and I love having you on, but I could change my mind if you tell me you put ketchup on it.
I am a mustard and relish guy.
I love you even more, Mike.
Yeah. There's no need for tomato juice on
freaking men.
That's all sugar, chemicals, and red food coloring. There's no tomato in that.
I mean, Mike, we're family now, buddy.
Yeah, I used to be a ketchup guy, like as a kid, but then I grew up.
Right.
And
right. You came to your senses.
Like I've seen people like just put ketchup on their hot dogs. I'm like, why don't you just dip it in water?
Wait a minute. So it's not no relish, mustard, no relish with the ketchup?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just
strange.
ketchup, and then no other condiments. I think that's Looney Tunes.
Yeah, those are
Joey Chestnut, by the way, I think he lives in Westfield, Indiana, which is like 15 minutes from my hometown, like right across the White River. So not surprised that he's got Midwest ties.
Speaking of your Indiana ties, are you one of those people who is staunchly against Purdue ever scheduling Texas Tech at anything again?
I got to be honest, guys. Like, the Sorsby stuff kind of blew over my head, and I checked Twitter, like, a few days after the announcement came down, and I was like, what? They're letting this guy play?
I know.
What is
It's pretty much all of our reactions.
You know what it was? Actually, it wasn't Twitter. I was listening to Jake and Ben, and they were talking about it, and then like a stinger of PK came in at the like a soundbite of PK talking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, they're letting this guy play, and you were going off on him, PK. I can't believe it. I just saw Nebraska and Georgia are boycotting him. Texas Tech, I think. I would love for Purdue to boycott him. I don't think we're playing Texas Tech anytime soon in any sport, but yeah, sure, boycott the Red Raiders. That is a joke, and put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm with you, Mike. I knew that I would be because you don't put ketchup on your hot dogs, so I knew right off the bat we had a lot in common. And I mean, this what a precedent it sends. Now we're going to have kids growing up gambling, and then they go on to the pro sports. Boy, that's not a problem. I don't see anything wrong with that whatsoever.
I just like, and maybe the Sorsby kid is a nice guy. He probably is. I have nothing against him personally, but I think we all understand why leagues and courts are so strict on this, or had been so strict on this, where if you bet on games, you're out. You're out. But yeah, it's like the 1919 Black Sox all over again.
Shoeless Joe, man. And there we have clueless Texas Tech. Shoeless Joe and clueless Texas Tech.
That's right. Oh, my gosh.
Well,
I can't believe it.
Would have impacted his mental health. It would have put him in a bad mood. Guess he's never.
Well, those are called consequences, and we all have to live with those.
Somebody's never watched Shawshank Redemption, obviously.
I'm in a bad mood every day.
Yeah, just think of poor DJ. He's got to work with you.
Yeah, I'm wrecking his mental health.
Fair.
I always thought he was nuts.
Well, that's just because I put
boycotting
ketchup on hot dogs. But at least I put it with the mustard and the relish.
Wait. So you're a ketchup guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I have been. Yeah, I've been. Well, I'm currently off the health missiles altogether.
Yeah, but we haven't on July 4th yet.
That's true.
I don't know if DJ is getting the invite to the family barbecue here.
I know. When he dies, Mike, I'm thinking I'll replace him with you.
Is there anything better than like being in the backyard, sitting on a
I thought you were going to say, is there anything better than me dying? Where are you going with this, Mike? Easy, Mike.
I know where he's going.
I've got something a lot better. It's sitting on a $10 camping chair with a paper plate on your knees as you're trying to balance like the watermelon, the hot dog, and then like the Doritos or something like that, and they're all kind of running together. But God, isn't that the best?
Yeah, exactly. It's why we're American.
It's what the folks in Raleigh are doing before every Hurricanes game. They're tailgating hockey games. It's incredible.
The Utah twist is on the 4th of July. You got to find a street up on one of the benches so you can look out across the whole valley. And you will find people doing that from Payson to
We can
Brigham
just go
City.
to your backyard.
No, there'll be too much ketchup. He's not coming.
You notice he didn't deny it, Mike. Yeah, he lives high up on them hills.
We'll straighten him out at the barbecue this year. Be good.
Okay.
Paycheck is why I live in Utah.
All right, Mike. You're the man. Thanks for joining us. Talking a little Stanley Cup final. It's 2-2, and Carolina's going to do it now, right?
You know what? Like, I'm just rooting for 7 games. I do kind of find myself rooting for Carolina. Vegas is they've been there before. They've won it recently. So I'd like to see some new blood. Carolina back in it first time in 20 years. So it's a great series, everybody. Hope you're all watching, and can't wait until we're playing hockey in June at the Delta Center.
Yeah, and Des Noyers is on the ice.
You would get kicked out of Quebec so quickly.
He'd never be let in. Catch him at the border.
Get this American out of here!
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Mike Folta, radio voice of the Utah Mammoth. When we come back, Well, 15 minutes from now. Chris Lowe, national college football writer for On3.com, will join us at the top of the hour. And we will talk more about Texas Tech and what the Big 12 can do, should do, will do. All next. Stay with us right here on The Zone.
Welcome to This is Chase Scott and Ben Anderson.
President of basketball operations for the Utah Jazz. It is Austin Ainge. How often are those top names switching around at the top of a draft board? Does that happen this late in the process?
It does happen. We're trying to force ourselves to keep an open mind. Like, don't get locked in until we have all the information. Make sure we're processing everything correctly. We're almost fighting a consensus or predetermination. We're trying to make sure we go through it as thoroughly as possible before we lock in. We are fighting groupthink. We're fighting media narratives. We don't have a consensus in our rooms, right? Like, there's arguments. My dad and I fight every day about stuff, about players. Coach Hardy and I spend a lot of time talking through it and picturing how it would work with this guy and that guy. And there's a lot of opinions and I work with a lot of smart people.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
What is that?
Oh, yeah, it's a World Cup holder.
Like the soccer tournament World Cup?
Holder. For the world. Fits every car, holds every cup.
It has a Carvana logo?
Yeah, Carvana made it. They buy and sell cars, so they made a car cup holder. So, got any good cups lately?
Used to, just couldn't figure out where in the world to put them.
The World Cup holder, brought to you by Carvana, proud sponsors of the World Cup holder.
Sign up today to win yours at cup-holder2026.com. Not authorized or endorsed by FIFA. Not a real product. For parity and fair use purposes only.
DJ and PK, Rod Stewart music all morning long because we've got Rod Stewart tickets. He's going to be at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater a week from Friday, June 19th. If you want to go, be caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Caller 12, 801-575-ZONE to go see Rod Stewart at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater, June 19th. Des Noyers. Got any other names you'd like to mispronounce? Wait, how did you say that?
Njigla?
Okay, Njigla. Man.
Y'all knew what I meant.
Des Noyers.
What's the point of having all those letters if they're not going to use them?
The silent S's.
My S's aren't silent.
Killing you.
What can I tell you, man? Every letter in my name serves a purpose.
Get in.
Front and back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on.
Come on.
I'm not French.
Fact.
Plus, I knew Mike would get a kick out of it.
Game 4. NBA Finals tonight. The Knicks go up 3-1. Get so close to the title they can taste it. Or the Spurs are 2-2. The kids are figuring it out. And they are in charge now, going home ready to take the lead. How long does it take Wembanyama to get a dunk tonight? First minute or second minute? They're going to throw him lobs early, aren't they? They've got to. Be crazy not to at this point.
Well, I think that New York needs to make a statement. Put him on his can. He's cheap shotting guys left and right. You do it too.
Drop him.
No layups. I just saw something.
Channel Charles Oakley. The ghost of Charles Oakley, no longer allowed to roam the halls of Madison Square Garden.
I'm flicking around the television,
yep.
And I come across, I don't even know where I saw it, but I saw it. And I've seen it 100 times, and I watched it again. They're having a documentary, basically, on the Celtics and Lakers. And McHale, when he clotheslined Rambis, they said, we had just had a timeout. And it was Casey Jones was the coach. And he said, no more layups. If you allow a layup, you're coming out of the game. And so
he took him out.
Yeah, and he's talking about how that's on his mind, right? And, funny, in those days, it was just a foul. 2 free throws, play on. And so the point being, no layups. No easy buckets. And if you have to get a little physical, I'm not a cheap shot guy by any stretch, and that clothesline was over the line. I agree. Man's in the air, right? Fortunately for Rambis, he didn't get any serious injury. Got up, and then Worthy was James Worthy, how he kind of pushed Rambis out of the way. And so this was, I don't know, several years later, they're discussing the play, right? And Worthy said, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have pushed him. I wish I never had pushed him. I would have liked him seeing him go right after. And I don't want to see fights by any stretch. But I think you have to have a level of physicality that sends a message that, okay, you come in here, there's going to be a foul, and we're going to be tough about it. I thought New York was a little too soft at the start of the game, and that just gave San Antonio all sorts of confidence.
San Antonio is a good free throw shooting team. Johnson's really the only guy you can't trust out there. He'll go to the line and put some bricks up. Everybody else will hit it. But I think the other point about sagging in and giving them open threes, San Antonio doesn't have a bunch of sharpshooters out there. They're not. Maybe Champagne is the guy who's shot it pretty well here in the postseason, but the rest of them have just kind of been decent. Which actually goes to the point when you go back to the Jazz in the draft about you don't have to shoot 40% from three. You'd love it, but San Antonio's doing this with a bunch of guys shooting 35, 36% from three. So if DeBonsa can turn his 33 in college into 35 or 36 in the pros, it's plenty good enough. That's what the Spurs are riding right now.
I agree.
All right, DJ PK, when we come back, Chris Lowe, National College Football Writer for On3.com, joins us. We'll talk with him about the Big 12, what they can and should do to Texas Tech, what they're likely to do, and I don't know, the second biggest story. The Big 12 doesn't seem that big right now. This is so huge. But we'll get his thoughts on the Utes and Cougars in the league race. Stay with us.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.